Audi S Max again for the 2004 Audi S4 4.2 liter V8. There's some little vacuum lines that runs next to the fuel injectors on both sizes. And well, for mine, if you've been pulling these too much, well, because how old they are, they actually end up breaking. So the line right here is a very small one. This is what it is. I picked this up from a hardware store, preferably from Advance Parts. That's what that is, the number and everything else. And then you also need to get a line to go over it, to connect it together. I don't know what size that line is. It's just big enough to go over that one. But it runs, for the vacuum line, it runs from, I can't remember the name of this. But it hooks up to this one right here. Runs right beside here. I got looped around. Hooks right here into this one. Then it feeds from there, runs over here somewhere. Then it runs over here, back down, right here. And can't really see it, but I'm going to replace this whole line right here. I gotta pull this off the front rear support bracket, and then replace this one over here, which is either this one or this other one right here that's been replaced. And the lines are pinched together, which they shouldn't be. Don't know where else they run to, which that's not a line, so I'm not worried about that one, but that one is. That's a vacuum line, a little one right there, but it's pinched right here where they have all this stuff run at. And then it's on a little vacuum line. You can barely see it, but it runs right there, runs back around into this hose here for the other one for that side of the motor. There's two of them for both sides of the motor, one on each side. I think it's called a RG valve or something like that. If I get the name right, I'm not sure on that part. But there's a YouTube video by another channel. Can't think of the name of it right now. But it tells you more about it and explains certain things on the motor and everything else, where certain things are at, where you can actually find it at and get to it. But they have the motor sitting out on the ground, so in my case, mine's still sitting in the car. So, and since this line keeps on breaking on me, I went to move it one time, but it broke. I didn't mean to break it, but it did. Piece of plastic. And I guess over a period of time, heat dries it out and everything, over a period of years and months and everything. So, therefore, it ended up breaking. But besides that, a few days ago, I was looking to see about a power steering pump, or if this car actually has a power steering pump. But I think it's hydraulic power steering, which is kind of weird to me, but Audi, different than any other car manufacturer out there. Power steering there, fluid is, and right there where the green cap is at. But besides that, I just see it's clear fluid in this, which ain't supposed to be. I know that for a fact. I gotta get that changed out before it gets too cold of weather, which ain't cold weather yet. We're still in the summer, so, well, starting summer, where it's gonna be hot as crap outside. And the air box used to be right there. Right now it's sitting in the trunk of the car. And a few wires like this, I gotta fix them, because this actually runs to this little guy right here, and it's not connected. I gotta get another connection for it. But as you can see, these wires are actually kind of burnt and corroded right to the end, which runs with the headlight assembly. And this is a vacuum for the air box, which the air box is in the trunk. So therefore, yeah. And I got some other hoses down here. Probably won't know what this is. This is, I guess it's overflow, or whatever the heck they got it for. But from what I found out, it runs back to the top of the coolant tank, which is supposed to be the overflow. And the overflow, they got blocked off. They got stopped up in the hole. That's the overflow line for the coolant tank itself. I don't know if the AC works in the car, which I don't know if it does, but if it does, hey, that's a plus. It means I don't have to worry about replacing that when I go get that fixed. When I go to get the fan, I gotta order another fan for an interior fan for it. So hopefully I won't have to worry about replacing it. When I replace the fan, I'm hoping everything else will work like it's supposed to. So if it does, it means less I have to worry about paying for out of pocket, because this is actually a budget build also. Some stuff I'm hoping to find kind of cheap. If not, full price is a lot of money on some things for this car. You can find it at certain places, certain websites. And I know for a fact, I told y'all that when I do find, I know I already found some stuff on some websites, and I gotta write the website names down, and I'll show them to y'all, and so I know where to order certain things from, or most of the parts from, that you can get really cheap, instead of paying $700, $800, $900 to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for parts for this car. Every part varies, every part's different. Them hoses right there was for all three of them together, because the other hoses, the smaller ones, they're about 2.5 foot to 3 foot long. The rubber hose, the bigger one, it's about 1 foot to 2 foot long, and it was $1 or something just for that rubber hose, actually, because the footage, how long they go by foot from the parts store when they go sell it. And I'm not worried about replacing some things right away. Some things not important than other things. But I know this radiator bracket is probably messed up or bent, whatever. But it's made out of pure plastic and a little bit of metal here and there. Well, it helps it keeps this helps it keeps this form. And I don't know why oil's on top of that, but I know this car hasn't been ran in a couple of days. So some stuff I can do now, some stuff I can do later. But a few lines I'll have to splice back together for a temporary fix for now. And I don't mind chopping up this line right here. I don't say the night. I don't have the what kind it is or anything. It's a small vacuum hose line. It's $1 and something per foot that you can get it for. Smaller diameter. Take a pin, shove it in the middle of it. That's how small it is. Just big enough for the other hose to fit into. And I'm actually holding the phone myself, but I want to put these back together, splice them back together for right now, and because I don't feel like pulling off the front of the car right now. And after I do that, get that done, taken care of later on, because I want to do it all at once and get it all out of the way at once. And I'm gonna fix all the vacuum hoses myself, cause all that's got to come off when I go to do the top end. I'm replacing whatever's underneath the intake manifold, the gaskets and everything underneath there. I want to replace all of them when I go do that, and I will make a video of that and go from there and see how it goes. But it should go really good. But I gotta get the proper hoses, and I might just decide to flip the radiator over how it's supposed to go into the car, so everything's facing the right direction, and hopefully that it didn't pinch the lines it's supposed to hook into the radiator. Besides radiator hoses, it's only 2 of them hooked into the radiator. Another way to drain coolant or water out of the engine, so somebody recorded a video on that also. That'll be later on when I go do that, because I want to drain it from there, and also from the bottom where you change the coolant out at the bottom right side of the engine. It's actually on the engine, not the radiator itself. It's a drain plug, and I'll make a video of that, so y'all know how to do that also, just in case, because they don't show you exactly where it's at. They just tell you of what location it's in, which, it's okay though. But some things here and there I gotta fix little by little. Not really in a rush to get it fixed, but when I get the motor mounts replaced, which would be actually the main thing I want doing here soon, is getting them replaced, because I need them to be replaced sooner than later, because I would like to drive the car more, and because I cleared engine codes that was on the car, but I want to make sure they don't come back, and I hope they don't come back, but if they do, it'll be okay. But some bolts on the front of the car I gotta replace. I gotta get, and the axle bolts for, it's 12 axles, the axle bolts on the inside for the inner axles. There's 12 of them, if I'm right. I might be wrong. And so for 24 of them, then 12 more on top of that, which is 36. It's $50 something for them at the Audi dealership, because some places somebody might be able to find them somewhere else and tell you exactly where to get them from. But I called up Audi and asked them a while back about doing that, and that was actually pretty cool, but it wasn't too bad. But this is a little update on it though, not much of one. On the rebuild part, it's not totally like a rebuild of the car, but some things just gotta be fixed here and there, and I want to get the interior looking nicer than what it was, and I want to clean the ceiling on the car to try to get some of the stains off the ceiling and make it look nicer. And the hood, I'll definitely want to buy another hood later on, because this hood is kind of screwed a little bit. It can be sanded, buffed out, whatever, but I'm not sure what really happened to it, because it actually shouldn't have turned out like this. And if you look at the roof right here across this part, you can tell something's actually been hit on the car, which I'm not sure if that's from hail or something else. But the rest of the roof looks in good shape, from what I do know of. This side of the car was an accident at one point in time in its history. The fender's different color, underneath is red, Uh, but I'm getting everything done to it, slowly but surely. And it should all work out pretty good. But I pulled the amp wires they had ran, because most of them was screwed anyways. And it wasn't too good. So, therefore, hopefully it works out pretty good. And I know we'll have to get a stand, because I was holding this phone. I'm using my cell phone, iPhone 7 Plus, to do all this with. Trying to get certain links for certain things, and hopefully get them cut and pretty evenly. Because I'm gonna wind up cutting the hoses down more in this hose anyways. It's got 2.5 foot section of it, or 3 foot section of it. But see if I can just stay up right here. And it might stay, it might not stay, I don't know. Hey, it stays. That's awesome. I'm just doing a little temporary fix so it still has the vacuum pressure that it needs to do so for the vacuum line itself. I want to trim this hose actually a little bit smaller than what it is right now. But this radiator support bracket is actually warped. And we are going to do that. Probably wondering what that is. That's dish detergent soap. To put it on the line to make it easier getting rubber hose on. So I don't want to breaking this line any more than what it is. Oh, it's already cracked the heck and back. So it's old and it's just breaking little by little. So I'm just slowly piecing it together, but I am going to replace the whole line itself. But I'm just doing this as a temporary fix for right now, so nothing can crawl into the line and cause more problems down the road. And I will have it run in the proper ways, like it's supposed to run. And for right now, that'll work for temporary. So, I'll show you what I just did real quick. A little temporary fix. This vacuum line, I will replace the whole thing all the way down. I'm just doing this for right now to keep any insects or anything else from getting into the line. So I don't cause any problems with the EGR valves or any of the vacuum system area. Because a lot of vacuum lines for this car runs throughout the top of the engine. I think it's like 4 or 5. And it's also a vacuum pump. It's basically an air pump, vacuum air pump. But it sits down behind that bottom radiator. And why this is moving, because I gotta get the whole new bracket for underneath the headlight assembly for this side of the car. Get it replaced. I'm not sure. Research that part yet. But when I do, and I get it, I will definitely let y'all know of how much it'll cost, the price, the shipping costs, and everything else. And I'll write everything down so it'll make it easier to do so. But for right now, I haven't cranked the car up in a little while. So I will crank it up, let it run for a little bit. I gotta get the key out of the house. And I just keep that shoved right there somewhere. Although it's plastic. Plastic wires, electric wires. That'd be okay. It ain't gonna mess up anything. The one's already messed up on this car as it is. So, yeah. Everything should go really good. I'm not sure how much longer it'll be before I actually start ordering the parts for the car. Probably a few more months. Because I only get paid every 2 weeks. And I'm already paying a lot out of my pocket as it is. For stuff. For parts, for bills, and everything else I gotta pay out. But, max out.